Hi, and today I'm going to be talking about Martin Chuzzlewit. In particular, I'm going to be talking about Seth Pecksniff and his two daughters, Charity and Mercy, or Cherry and Mary. So first, Mr. Pecksniff, who is one of the classic creations of Dickens. Um, Here is one of the best descriptions of him from the book itself. It would be no description of Mr. Pecksniff's gentleness of manner to adopt the common parlance and say that he looked at this moment as if butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. He rather looked as if any quantity of butter might have been made out of him by churning the milk of human kindness as it spouted upwards from his heart. Okay, Pecksniff is a total humbug. He is a phony. He plays at being Mr. Bountiful, and he takes advantage of everybody else to the extent that he can. His two daughters, Charity and Mercy, or Cherry and Mary, as they are familiarly known, have learned their example from their father. And as with most sibling rivalries, you see they take different sides. Charity is the serious one. She's the older daughter, and she's not too attractive, at least compared to her sister. So she's serious, and she does a similar kind of humbuggery as her father. Mercy, on the other hand, does the traditional coquette. She's cute. She's always been cute. She dresses younger. She dresses in a juvenile way. She's of marriageable age, but she dresses like a little girl at the beginning. So the three of them actually go through the novel and have some interesting arcs. They all three are brought low, more or less, for different reasons. Pecksniff himself, very interestingly, gets fooled by old Martin Chuzzlewit, who uses him as the worst example in the extended Chuzzlewit family. Picks Pecksniff as an exemplar of just greed, selfishness, etc., and being false and a hypocrite, etc. And he pushes Pecksniff to the limit to see basically how far Pecksniff will go. And he will go far. And then, of course, he gets a rude awakening at the end when he finds out the old man is not his dupe and has been onto him the entire time. Yes, spoiler alert for a book that is over, now, geez, we're up at 170 years old now, perhaps. Even more than that. This was written in the 1840s. Okay, let me do Mary next, Mercy. She ends up marrying her cousin, Jonas Chuzzlewit. Now, it doesn't seem like it's very well motivated. Now, it's motivated from Jonas's side, but why Mercy would accede to this marriage? She doesn't have to get married. She just likes playing cute, and the level of motivation is that she despises Jonas, and he is a despicable person. And she's like, well, I'm just going to marry you because I will make your life a living hell. And of course, what happens is the other. She finds out that once she gets married, she basically has no hold over her husband. So that's not an unusual lesson for many people, even now. You think you will have some leverage that you will not have after certain deals are made. So she is brought low, and other things bring her even lower, where she kind of becomes a victim, and then old Martin, I'll just say, protects her at the end. She's still not happy. We don't know exactly what happens to her at the end. Cherry is really interesting because she, to a certain extent, is very, it's hard not to feel sorry for her because she's plain. She's never as successful in her hypocrisy, humbuggery as her dad. She thought Jonas was courting her. And it is a big insult to her when he goes for Mercy or Mary instead of her. That's number one. And she realizes she's just going to be a loser in her father's game. She's just not going to be able to hang around his house. It looks to her like her dad is looking to get married again. And that's another thing for later. And she goes to London to stay with Mrs. Todgers. And she finds one of the young men who had fallen in love with Mercy from an earlier visit. and basically manipulates him into courting her and proposing marriage. And then the thing is, she's left at the altar. And we are told later that both Mr. Pecksniff and Cherry Pecksniff are basically in poverty at the end, living together. And if Cherry's not a drunk, at least her dad, Seth, is, because he's been wiped out by the financial fraud that's at the heart of the novel as well, which is my favorite part. In any case, Pecksniff is one to know because he has been used as a symbol of hypocrisy. Obviously, he's not as well known as, say, Bob Cratchit, Ebenezer Scrooge, Pip, David Copperfield. Oh, actually, David Copperfield's not a really good character, but Uriah Heep, Mr. Micawber, all of those. But Pecksniff really had his, partisans, as it were, because he's the perfect smarmy dude you just want to throttle. And it is very interesting because you see the various characters who basically want him to get what's coming to him, and they are very happy with what happens to him in the end. There's one character who was taken in by him and then realizes what he is, and that's Tom Pinch, and that's why he's the hero of the novel, in my opinion. Anyway, those are the Pecksniffs, and so next time I want to talk about Tom Pinch.